Kane, it's 1-0. We're fucking down. 13th in the championship. The takeover happened as I said it would. People will be. Oh, when have we got Leeds? Now then, people, welcome back to the Just Joe football show. And finally, some Leeds content for the day, you know, because we've been doing Premier League football. So finally, some Leeds content. I can enjoy speaking about this. Please do smash a like on the video. We've got an all-star cast for you today as well. Listen, trying to mix it up as much as possible, getting different opinions, different creators, giving everyone the opportunity to come in and get involved, promote their stick and stuff as well. That's what it's all about. One community, man. This is what we're doing. All grinding. It's great to see. It's great to have people on. We've got a debut for Charlie, chatting on Leeds. Charlie, how are you doing, my man? All good?
All good, mate. Yeah, it's been a long time coming, but yeah, finally glad to be on and getting to a good win. So yeah, buzzing.
Yeah, buzzing. Good man. I love how Yorkshire your accent is, Charlie. I can't lie to you, mate. So
everyone says that. I can't help it.
Yeah. It's so Yorkshire, bro. I miss it. So it's nice to hear it. Ollie, looking cool as feck as always, mate. How are you doing? All good?
Yeah, very well. And the least northern accent probably here. But yeah, I'm all good, mate. All good. Good performance yesterday. Good win. We keep marching on.
Yeah, exactly. Max, looking dapper as well in your nice sheepskin sweater, coat thingy. How are you doing, man?
I'm all right, mate. Yeah, I'm buzzing as well.
Yeah.
Three wins, 3-3-0 wins. And not a goal conceded in the last 3 games. Buzzing.
Yeah, exactly. It's great to have you back as well, mate. I've missed you. I can't lie to you. I know you've been very busy. Keep pumping out the content on your channel as well, which has been class. So that's great to see. And we've got Jay returning from the Ought to Know Better with that mad hairdo, mate. How are you doing? All right?
Yeah, not bad, mate. I've had my hat on today, so it's gone nuts. But yeah, you know, take my hat off to you, Joe, literally. So I had to turn up as I am.
I love that. Listen, Max, we'll start with you then, mate, because you mentioned it. You know, it was only a couple of weeks ago, busy Christmas period. People are saying Farke is not the man. We're playing laborious, boring football, and of course, you do have peaks and troughs through the season. But since then, like you say, 3 goals in each game, 9 goals scored, 0 conceded, and 3 wins on the belt. And arguably one of the more complete performances yesterday against Cardiff.
Yeah, definitely. I think it comes down to the fact that he's tried something different, which is really what we were all calling out for. I know a lot of people were saying, like, look, Farke needs to change something or he needs to be changed. And the primary option for everyone, the one we all wanted, I can speak for most people, is for him to just try something different, because we all think he's a very good manager. And he did that. He's tried playing Bamford up front, leading the line with a striker, playing Jorginho in the 10 behind. He's tried now Ampadu in consecutive games at centre-back, where he's spraying the ball forward and having almost an extra midfielder in there. He's tried Gruev now that we've not seen before. And I know you were a big fan of his performance yesterday, Joe. And over the last couple of weeks, I think he's proved, I think it was a game against Coventry where I thought, okay, yeah, he's a viable option now. Kamara was good. I think in general we've just freshened things up a little bit, and it's helped massively. And that's exactly what I was calling out for Farke to do, is just change things a little bit. We've got the squad to do it, and he's done it, and this is the results that have come from it.
Yeah, he's hit the nail on the head there, Annie. Ollie. It is nice to see him switch it up, like's been mentioned, whether or not that was because we were struggling or he always had plans to do this. Listen, at the end of the day, he's a manager that has been through this division on 2 separate occasions and got promoted. He knows how to navigate it, and it's great to see him getting some flowers and great to see Leeds performing as well as they did yesterday.
Yeah, 100%. I think, you know, Max has hit the nail on the head with the changes. I think we was crying out for a few changes. I'll be completely honest, maybe with you guys as well, and the people watching right now, we were all starting to kind of feel a bit like we're not Farke out, but we're worried about has he got something else? You know, has he? And December was a tough, you know, month with fixtures, with, you know, just a bit of everything. And now it's slowed down to a game a week. We're really seeing what this Leeds side can do. And we started off 2024 fantastically. And I think, you know, long may it continue. I hope in the next, you know, 4 or 5 games, I don't want to say it, but I can't see Leeds losing it.
I love it, mate. I love it. No, I hear, though, because I said we need an unbeaten month in January. And Charlie, the next 3 games are at home, and we're amazing at home. But so, are you as confident as Ollie at the minute after the 3 performances and yesterday, mate?
I feel like, as you've said there, at home, I feel like there hasn't really been many issues at home, which is good. I think it's good to see Ellen Road being a bit of a fortress again, because over the last few seasons it really hasn't been, has it? So it was the away form that was really starting to bug me a little bit. So hopefully that performance yesterday now kickstarts a decent away form as well. But like you say, the next few games are at home. So as Ollie said, I am quite confident that Leeds are able to pick points up at home, especially against the teams that we're playing as well. The games that we should be winning on paper. So yeah, I am confident of that.
Yeah. No, exactly. I agree with you as well, mate. Like Preston, they're gonna get their comeuppance for that win away from home for sure.
Revenge.
Revenge, exactly. One of the key things, Jay, obviously, is Bamford. Leading the line. Like Leeds Hub says, the redemption is there. Bamford owns 2024. What he does do is really occupy centre-backs, because I do believe had Rutter led the line and Pirro been in the 10, it'd have been easier for Gutas and McGuinness to deal with it. However, when Bamford's in there, it's a totally different proposition. He gets an early goal, Jay, and it's 3-3 for Bamford now as well. So what a turnaround for him, man.
I know. It's like the team's form is mirroring his form at the moment. And it's good fun at the moment, actually, as a creator, seeing people get upset when you compliment him and say how well he's done. I'm quite enjoying that. But I mean, I'll hold my hands up and say I'd written him off. I thought he were finished. I genuinely did. I didn't think he had anything more to contribute. And it's just been a pleasant surprise, and long may it continue. I don't think it's vintage Bamford of 17 Premiership goals levels, but I think that he has shown himself to now be a valuable cog in the team, and he's an option again.
Yeah, I'm going to come back to you, Max. Reason being is because obviously I know you're an advocate quite regularly, like JT, like others, Luke as well, that had said, look, and I'd said myself to pat my own chest, that we do look better off the ball, look better on the ball as well, Max. It's great to see him playing so well.
I think listen, in today's game, there's more than one type of striker. A striker isn't just there to put the ball in the back of the net. And it sounds silly to say the striker's job might not be to score goals. But obviously he is there to score goals, and he has been doing that. But it's his work, like you say, off the ball. He creates space by occupying the defenders. That's exactly what you say in there, Joe, because Rutter, as good as he is as a footballer, isn't a striker. So he doesn't know how to make strikers runs. Whereas Patrick Bamford has been trained his entire career. No matter what you think of him, he's been trained his entire career, and you can tell that he's a clever bloke, to know how to play as a striker. So he knows the runs to make. He knows how to occupy defenders, how to drag and open up space. And I think that the most obvious case of that the whole time was Jorginho's goal, the final goal, where Bamford had the awareness to step over the ball because he knew that Jorginho was a better option behind him. And there's not many people in our squad who would have the awareness that Bamford does in and around the box to make runs, to occupy defenders, to open up space. And for me, that's what he adds, is his ability to hold the ball up, to control things and bring in players around him, and also to occupy defenders and open up space for our other, let's say, quicker, more talented wingers and stuff to get in there. And I think, a lot of people have been going, oh, where are all the Bamford haters now? But I think there's a line to draw, isn't there, that you can criticize someone if they haven't been good enough, if they are not taking the chances and they are not playing well and they're always injured. You can criticize them. There's no need for saying that he's the worst player of all time or whatever, that he should get out of the club. But there's a option there to say, okay, he hasn't been good enough. But then also that means you're allowed to give him praise when he does come in and play well. So I think that's where pretty much all of us stand on it, is that if he's playing well, we'll give him credit where it's due. It's not just black or white. You hate him or you don't. It's he's playing well and we're all for it. We just want the best for Leeds.
Yeah, I think.
Can I ask a quick question?
Go on, Jay.
Does he step over that ball if he hadn't scored a couple of goals recently?
We'll never know.
We'll never know. And do you know what, though? Just on that goal, that was my favourite. And the reason is because of how unselfish it was, and the fact that Rutter, in effect started off the move with a hit and hope. Well, I wouldn't even say it was hit and hope. He looked, seen the space and hit it. The two defenders tackle each other. James then gives it Somerville. Somerville, who had been pretty greedy and wasn't doing great, realised the angle was too tight and said, I'll give it Bamford. And then Bamford said, you know what, I'll step over it and you have it, Rutter. And it was just great seeing that goal be scored. Matt spoke about it earlier on, Ollie, and I don't know how you've seen the game because I've seen different content creators. I like to watch other content, and I was surprised on some he didn't get as much hype, but Ilya Gruyev, for me, I thought was absolutely amazing. And we speak about what I loved about him most. It was a little bit like Calvin, bro, with the balls, because he had every single type of pass. You know what I mean? And I know it's only one performance, but I thought he was unreal yesterday. I don't know what you made.
No, I completely agree. I mean, I tweeted at half-time that he had some sort of Sergio Busquets performance that first half.
I've seen that actually. Sorry, I did,
Because, I thought just... you're saying it's just one game. I think he started the last 3 or 4 games. I think he's been in. He's looked good, and I remember when he first sort of came into the team, getting some minutes. I thought physically he wasn't really there, and I didn't think too much of it. I think it might have been a Stoke game or something. I was just not really impressed, but I wasn't really impressed with any of them that game. But yesterday, I think it was something like, was it 97% passing accuracy?
Yeah, the first time since 2013, I think.
I mean, that is for this division, for this standard. 97% in the get is unheard of, and I just thought he won the ball back brilliantly. The little passes in there, like you said, he had a bit of everything yesterday. But the annoying thing is, when Pascal's back, I want to see Ampadu, Gruev. I want to see Kamara in there, because I thought Kamara, done very well in there yesterday, and he let Gruev play as well as he did because Kamara was doing all that running. But Gruev. Fair play to that man. I saw the little Rusev things you were saying about him. And
just get a Bulgarian brute, man.
It was brilliant.
It was amazing. And that's the thing, innit? There is a real selection headache for me, because how can you then drop him based on that performance? You cannot.
No, you
can't.
And
Ampadu's not been bothered, and I know the opposition, although I think we're easy as fans to go, it was only Cardiff, but they were in 9th. You know what I mean? They're not a bad side.
No. And that's that thing as well. Sorry to interrupt you.
No, go on, mate.
Like, I think we've spoke about it a lot. You can only play what's in front of you. And when people say, I actually had a comment on my video saying, we've only just scored 3 against Cardiff and we're supposed to be going to the Etihad in 8 months' time. And I'm like, that's so irrelevant. And you can only play, who's in front of you. And it's just, I don't understand people like that. You can't, win a game 3-0. We're not saying it's the perfect performance, but we've won 3-0 away from home. We've started 2024 off. Let's just spread some positivity for once as Leeds fans. You know what I mean?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, there was a guy, actually, I want to shout him out. I forget his name. It's not worth knowing your name, pal. But I'm only joking. But he was griefing people because, Gruev's had one good game. And then afterwards, he was like, no, it's only Cardiff. And it's like, sometimes I just want to go, just relax, man. We won a game of football, man. Enjoy it. Yeah, man. Yeah. Some people just they can't enjoy life, man. They're shouting at clouds in the back gardens, and then they're coming inside and having a go at YouTubers. It is what it is.
You'd think after last season you'd just be happy to take any joy that comes your way, wouldn't you?
Exactly.
Yeah.
We should be enjoying this, because if we do get promoted, it's not going to be anywhere near as fun as this.
Exactly.
There's no
we know
way
what lies down
just
that
ask
road.
Burnley fans, innit? Just ask Burnley fans, Max. Do you know what I mean?
There's no way you win 3 games 3-0 in a row in the Premier League. So just this is dreamland.
Yeah,
it's all right. It's all right. It's all right. Someone saying, if you've only scored 3 goals against Cardiff, you might as well not bother in Premier League. What you do in the Championship has no bearing on what happens.
Yeah, do they expect you to win 12-0 every week in the Championship to be able to get a top 10 finish in the Premier League? It doesn't. Football doesn't work like that.
Nope.
No. I agree, and I think actually Luke fact-checked it while we were on yesterday's post-match, and I think it's the first time ever Leeds United have won 3-0, 3 games on the spin. Maybe
Russell probably knows. He's in chat, isn't he?
Someone will know. But no, Stats told him on the stream, sent him a message. I think it's true. So, like you say, that doesn't happen in the Premier. It doesn't happen ever, really, to be honest. So we've got to enjoy it for sure. Charlie, who impressed you most yesterday? Was it Gruev, or do you look at other players on the pitch?
I'll agree. I think Gruev was the best player for Leeds, I thought, yesterday. Well, maybe not actually best, but just someone who I was more impressed with. Just, I think the last times that we've seen him, like Ollie said earlier, in them opening few games that he featured, he wasn't as strong as the other midfielders. And I was thinking, is this guy really good enough to come in when needed? But obviously, Ampadu had to drop back into centre half yesterday. Gruev's come in and I thought done really well. Obviously, Pat Bamford's the main change at the minute. I never thought I'd say this, but I don't want him out of the team at the minute. Against Stoke, when he missed that penalty, I was done with him. I was completely done. But even on New Year's Day, I think when the lineups were announced, I was going Bamford. I was like, no. But then obviously he's proved me wrong. And like you say, you have to give credit where it's due. I think Glenn Kamara as well. I love him as well. I just think he's so press resistant. It just doesn't seem phased when there's players on him and things like that. And yeah, I can't think of a bad performance yesterday, really.
No, I think you bang on the money. And go on,
Joe. Can I quickly just touch on someone? I just want to touch on Dan James this season. Yeah. I really feel like people just still can't give him credit and still say he's. I know yourself. You like to say he's an effective player. Can we not just say he is a good player now? Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
He is contributing so much, goals, assists. You know, who else was quick enough to make two defenders bump into each other yesterday? Exactly. I think he's been miles ahead of, unfortunately, Nonto. I know Nonto technically might be a better player, but Dan James this season, again, yes, he has been effective, but I think all-round game this season, defensively and attacking, I think he needs... I think what Leeds fans do is, you know, look at him under like Bielsa and things when we used to play him up top, and similar sort of thing to Bamford, because you've had a past where you haven't been very good, you can't now shake that off. And I still feel like some Leeds fans have that against him, but I just wanted to give my boy Dan some props because I think he's been brilliant this season.
You say that Oliver, forget either Oliver says Max in there as James Brickle. Max called it. Max called it, to be fair, didn't you, mate?
Yeah, I said it in our pre-season predictions. I said player of the season. And he probably won't get that.
That was bold.
The other players, but see, the thing is, I never thought it was that bold of a prediction, because when he was in the Championship with Swansea, he was one of the best wingers in the division, and that's why we wanted to sign him and why he ended up eventually going to Scum. So now, having more experience playing Premier League football and stuff, I thought, right, well, he's going to be even better now he goes back to the Championship. I didn't think it was that much of a big call, to be honest, but he's exceeded even what I expected, to be honest. He always seems to be in the right place at the right time now, and
his decision making's improved so much as well. His decision making's improved so much. It's insane how much it's improved. Even his crossing, when to do. Go on, Jay.
I think his time in the Premiership has made him a better player. How could it not? He was at that age, wasn't he, where you step up and get better, or you just kind of fade away and stay as you are. And he's got better for me, immeasurably. You can't deny it, looking at what he's done this season.
Do you know what I love about what's changed about Dan James this season is that he's not one-dimensional anymore. It used to be that always the thing with Dan James was that he would knock it past someone and run past them. But now you actually see that there's little bits where he'll dribble past someone. He'll like come inside and go past a couple of players and then play the simple pass. Like he's adding little extra elements to his game. He's actually starting to use his left foot when he gets out on the right wing. A lot of the time, the defender's obviously expecting him to go down the line and cross it in with his right foot. But he started to give him a different headache by cutting in on his left and curling it towards the back post. He's tried that a lot this season. It gives defenders something else to think about, which makes him 50% more effective because they don't know which way he's going to go. And I think he's actually technically improved a lot this season and is doing things that we haven't seen him do before. It's probably why he's having a little bit more success as well.
I was going to mention that about improving, because I think one of the main things that I've noticed with Dan James is that he no longer just hits and hopes a ball across goal, or his crossing. He generally picks people now and tries to give the ball.
He's got thought behind it now, hasn't it? Rather
he
than
tries
just
to pick a man.
The box.
Yeah, he used to just do the hit and hope thing, just bang it across goal and hope someone gets on the end of it. Now he's picking people out.
And that little chip yesterday that he done over that hit the bar last year, that's he's smacking that into Rosette before he's not even thinking about it. So
that pass from Archie though.
Yeah, what?
That was
just a lovely sequence of football. It was just like if he'd have scored that, it would have been perfect. Like everything would have been right in that moment there.
Yeah, for sure. Props to Archie as well. I thought he played really well. I'm going to give you some Archie propaganda. And it goes without saying, I think he dealt with Callum Grant. Callum Grant's a decent winger at this level. I know he's had off games. And
I don't know about anyone else.
Right.
Sorry, Joe, to interrupt. Is it your mic that's going a bit crazy?
Yeah, he sounds weird. I
Yeah.
thought it was
Oh,
me.
really? Okay.
You're like, what?
Yeah. Okay. Come on. Someone take this. Someone just take it somewhere. I'll sort
that takes us on to Archie Gray.
Nice.
Yeah,
Obviously, another one who played yesterday beyond his years. We had all our midfielders on the pitch at once, didn't we? And Archie Gray playing it right back.
Yeah.
And I know a lot of people are saying he's not a right back, but he does seem to me to actually be doing a good job there no matter what. And he's mature beyond his years. He knows when to hold on to the ball. He's getting taken on a lot less than what he was earlier in the season as well, I think. And maybe that's down to, look, these are worse opposition that we've played in the last couple of games. But I think the way he's playing, he just seems to be stronger, faster. He wants to beat a man. He kept getting past his winger and getting his body in the way and actually then creating chances for him and Dan James down that right-hand side. So I think their link-up's improving as well. But yeah, it's just mad how he's not 18 until March, I think it is.
His attacking play was great, I thought, yesterday. Like, just the getting forward element of his games come on leaps and bounds. It's like his development curve, like a normal player, it might be like that. He's just like that. He just plays a couple of games and improves massively each game or two.
I just love the relationship between Dan James and Archie Gray. I think they work so well together. And Dan James, again, tracking back. But Archie Gray recently has made me think, I know we do, but do we need a right back? Do you know what I mean? That's what I've been thinking. I know we do, because as much as the age and we can't play him for so much and he's out of position, all that, he's not giving me a reason to drop him. And it's the, I know he's a naturally born midfielder, but then that just makes it more hard that we need to get Gruevin, Ampadu, Kamara, Archie, all of them in. So yeah,
it's a nice problem though.
Yeah, lovely.
Nice
problem.
headache.
I'm not complaining.
Yes.
Hey,
what?
Is it still not working?
No, it's knackered.
We get about half of every word.
Yeah.
I'm gonna reboot. Max, over to you.
Yeah. All right. Yeah. Okay. Well,
Go on,
yes,
Max. No pressure.
We've got Preston, and somebody did just mention in the comments, Andrew Maiko. Shout out to you. I can't put it on the screen because I'm not Joe. But he said Miller up against Archie Gray again, and we know that Archie Gray did struggle against him in that away fixture, and obviously in the end Miller got the better of Archie Gray, curling that ball into the top right corner. So what you are saying there, Ollie, hopefully he doesn't get exposed, because in recent games he's been playing against wingers who he can deal with because they're not as good, but coming up against somebody like him who is a little bit better, a little bit quicker, seemed to beat Archie to every punch last time. I don't know if he's going to struggle in that game.
That'd be a cool way to see if he's like grown a little.
Yeah.
As a right back, putting him against a player that's already sort of had him in his pocket and ruined him.
I was going to say, as a professional footballer, can you let it happen twice? Like, can you? I know you can, and famously you can, but I just feel like, I don't know. He's come on leaps and bounds from that game, and I know that game wasn't even a month ago, but we've played a lot of football since then, and I think he'll be okay. I do. I hope anyway.
I've got a feeling he'll be all right. Like, his development curve is just straight. He's just getting better and better.
Well, they'll have analysed it as well, won't they? That's the thing, isn't it? With professional football, they'll have sat down and gone, "Look, Archie, I know you're not a natural right back, but we've got to look at this because you got done here." And they'll have gone through it with the video analysts and said, "Look, this here," because it even goes down to intricate levels, doesn't it? At that level, where they'll say, "Okay, look, when he makes this move, what happened was you put more weight on your right foot, so that when he went." Cut inside and went past you were slower to turn and go after him, and little things like that he'll have identified, and he'll be ready now. This time, you'd hope for him to be just a little bit closer to the pace, a little bit closer on it.
Yeah,
I mean, go on, Ollie.
I was just going to say, and realistically, Miller was their only threat. So if you kind of like shut that out, then I think we'll be okay. But yeah, sorry, continue your point.
I was just going to say, well, hopefully Dan James will be getting back and helping out as well, because obviously Dan James is not a great defender, but with his pace, he has the ability to just be in a space, to block a shot or to block a pass or to shut out those passing lanes. So I think that really helps. But I think
of the thing yesterday, as well, that going back to Dan James's pace, where their left midfielder had it, and he had it for about 2 seconds with a bit of space, and Dan James has just bombed it back, and then it's just then a 2-on-1. So I think the pace for Dan James would definitely help Archie. But like I said, Miller was the only one who was really sort of testing Leeds United at all. So if we can keep him quiet, then I think it should be a relatively, I don't want to say easy, but a relatively good game.
Careful.
Yeah, better than it was in the away game. You'd like
Let's
to
say that, and hopefully Melier keeps his arms down as well.
Can you hear me now?
Hey, that's it. That's better.
Get up there. Charlie, I'll come over to you then. They were talking about Archie Gray. Let's talk about the other flank, and let's talk about Junior Firpo. Well, for me anyway, there were 2 moments where I think it was Bowler got down the side and caused him problems. But great going forward, mate. What are your thoughts on Firpo? Is he on that redemption arc?
Yeah, kind of. Like you say, I think, the attacking side of his game, I think, has kind of always been there. But I think the defensive work is just something that he really needs to work on. Like you say, I think some of the quality of wingers that have managed to get the better of him in certain games are not the level that you'd expect them to be beating him at, if that makes sense. So I'm not quite at the full Pat Bamford, like his back vibe yet, but I think, is the only natural left back at the club.
At a level to start with.
Well,
to be back.
No, that's true.
It's good fun watching him beat people, though.
Yeah.
It is. Lockie, you've just joined us, mate. Thanks. I know you've been playing football. Oh no, sorry, you were working. Mate, I never know you. You're doing something in football. You know what I mean? It is what it is.
I wish I would play.
Talk to me, mate. Yesterday's result must be over the moon.
Yeah, delighted, Joe. Yeah, it's well weird. You can just sit back and kind of enjoy Leeds this season. How long's it been since it's been relaxed? And for me, you watch the first 20 minutes in a game now, you kind of just go, yeah, we'll be all right here. You know what I mean? A team doesn't show much, and you're just, we create loads of chances. We don't quite finish as much as we should, but the overall feeling I get, I'm just relaxed, and I don't think in my entire time of watching Leeds, when we're in League One and all that rubbish, I don't think I've ever been relaxed like this. Even the promotion season on the Bielsa, we never knew what the Premier League. Well, I didn't know what the Premier League was like because I was too young, so I never had that expectation. But now, you kind of had that expectation that we should win every game, and we don't, but we should. And when you come into a game and you just look so comfortable, the team looks so comfortable. I don't think we needed to go out of third gear yesterday. I think Rodon and Ampadu were unbelievably good, but I thought it was easy for them. I don't think they had to do much. Our keeper did, apart from one shaky moment, had literally nothing to do the entire game.
He had that under control with a little header and then volley into touch. He knew what he was doing.
but it was just a calm performance and a really good professional performance. And I think that's really 9 goals in 3 games now with no goals conceded. And realistically, if I can remember off the top of my head, it's not really looked like we conceded a big chance, really, to be honest.
No, I don't think we did.
This game, I think, is a good yardstick to measure how our season's going, because in the first game, obviously, everything was up in the air. We were struggling. It was that Bowler who played on their right wing. It was his debut, and he had a really good game against us and scored on his debut. Yeah. And obviously, somebody mentioned that Bowler beat Firpo a couple of times, but he didn't. He managed to get 1 or 2 crosses into the box, but that was about as dangerous as he got all game. And we really struggled against him last time. And obviously this is now an away game as well, as opposed to a home game. And we just dispatched them with ease. And like Lockie says, we barely got out of third gear really. So I thought it was,
comparing that first game, Max, against Cardiff to this one is we struggled to get a point. I know we had a few less players there, didn't we? We didn't have half the players, but at the end of the day, we had Sinistero. We still had other players. We've come on so much. So much.
Phenomenal.
You never felt worried, did you?
No.
At any point?
No.
That's unusual.
Yeah. No, you're right, mate. You're right. And just looking at it there, and I know the square ball mentioned it about the playoffs. Obviously, there's an 11-point gap now to 7th. And Robbie's asked, have we settled for the playoffs, lads? See, the mad thing is, no, exactly. Yesterday we won, and Southampton won, and Ipswich won, but it's okay. Like, I'm okay about it because I know, and I am very confident that we get second spot. I am very confident, and it's not pie in the sky. Ipswich are not doing great. Yes, they won, of course. They get lucky, Sunderland should score and that. So I almost feel as well that Southampton have gone a little bit too soon. And there's still too long to go. I think Leeds will have additions. And I just think we're really now clicking into gear. And I'm confident we still get top 2. Is anyone settled for the playoffs? Go on, Ollie.
Oh, sorry.
Go on, Ollie. You're grimacing a little bit.
No. I mean, I love the optimism, and I would love to say that. I think it's not out of the question. I really don't, and I completely agree with the Ipswich thing that they're really riding their luck. They really are. And Saints, you might be right. They've maybe gone a bit too quick. The thing is with us now, I would like us to just keep winning. I know that sounds so obvious, but we don't have to. I know exactly what you meant yesterday. We won and them 2 won, but I wasn't worried because I think we're so calm with our performances. And I see Leeds, like I said earlier on in the show, will just keep winning. And I know there will be a loss here and there, but I don't see this team now, getting 2-3 odd sort of results. I feel like we've got some sort of pattern now. And yeah, we could get top 2, but how many points are we off? Are we still 7 points off it?
7.
Yeah. 7, yeah. 7.
Well, I mean,
yeah.
Yesterday when I was watching the game, and I haven't been looking at the league table in ages. I've just been watching the games and just hoping for 3 points and just not really been concentrating on that because obviously at this point it's just to get as many points as you can. When I looked at the table yesterday, obviously Ipswich hadn't played yet. I was like, hold on, with 4 points off second. And I thought, when did this close up? But obviously Ipswich have been on that bad run of form, and yes, they won yesterday, but I got that belief instantly when I saw that the gap was 4 points, and I genuinely think that Ipswich are going to have a worse run of form than us at some point, and we're gonna bridge that gap. And I think it's going to be very tight between the 3 of us come the end of the season. And with Southampton being our last game, isn't it? Our last home game.
Yep. Last game of the season at home against Southampton.
Yeah, that's going to be tasty, I think.
God.
Yeah, for sure.
It feels like Ipswich are proper labouring to wins now, doesn't it? It doesn't feel like they're blowing anyone away anymore.
No, exactly. Lockie, you were going to have something to say, mate.
It was just about that last game of the season. Ellen Road against Southampton. If we're genuinely, with this team right now and the mentality we have, or the quality of the players as well and the experience of Daniel Farke at this level, if it comes to the last game of the season against Southampton at Ellen Road, I'd back us 100%, I think. Imagine the crowd.
Oh.
If we're within 3 points of them with a better goal difference, that's going to be a good game.
Like derby settings, though. I remember the crowd for that game, man. Fuck it.
I was at that one, yeah.
God. I mean, it was great on the night, but then when Kiko and half time and that. Anyway, that was then. This is now. That was then. This is now.
Talk about it.
Exactly. Yeah. How do you feel about it, Charlie? I just want to hear from you. Like, where's your head at? Are you thinking it's out of sight?
No, it isn't out of sight. However, I think Southampton just seem like they're not going to lose at the minute, which I'm sure they will do. Obviously, I don't think they'll be able to keep it up quite like they are. But I think, like a few of you have said, I think if we keep on with the mentality and the performance levels that we're showing since the turn of the year, I can't see us losing a lot of games now between now and the end of the season. And like Lockie's just said, if it comes down to Southampton at Ellen Road, I would back us 1,000%, especially with as home form this season anyway. So no, it's not completely out of the question, but I think we just need to keep doing what we're doing. Try not to get in that sort of bubble yet. Hopefully the positive outcomes will come along with that. I'm praying anyway.
Like you said, just keep winning. Just keep doing what you do. Keep beating teams 3-0 next week. And then we'll look at the table in 6 weeks. We might be 2 points off top 2 and you go, well, that's come quick, isn't it? So keep winning.
No, I agree. I do agree with you. Like someone's just said, like Southampton are away at Swansea. There's no easy fixtures, There's no easy fixtures. Jay, we've got 3 home games on the spin.
Yeah.
Winning all three, do you think? We're under. I mean, I'm not saying this to be like ballsy. I am. I guess I am being ballsy. We're impenetrable at home, and I just think the form that we're in right now, Rodon just looks like he will not be beat at all. Like he's still not being dribbled past the Championship Van Dijk. You know what I mean? This is what we're dealing
still
with.
not happy.
Yeah, he's fuming all the time. Standards.
I feel like it's a good opportunity now to keep this run going because 3 in a row, get another 3 in a row, or 2 in a row, or whatever. Because I think one of them's a cup game now. The next 3.
That's right. Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, those of us who are older here will remember Newcastle famously blowing an 11-point lead or whatever it was at the top of the Premier League.
I will love it. I will love it if we do
exactly. It happens. It happens. There's no reason for us to believe it's over. I mean, there was a point over Christmas where I really did think we'd blown it. I thought, that's it, Jesus. And then look at us now. We're sat here looking at them again, thinking we can catch them. Yeah. And it's more Saints that are a problem now to me than Ipswich.
It's also the thing. It's recency bias, isn't it? Do you know what I mean? It really is with football, unfortunately, because if we say we don't win these next 2 games, how much is this all going to change?
It'll be Farke out again.
Yeah,
we were a monsters.
Exactly. And football is a horrible game like that. So that's why when people do comment like, "Yeah, but we're not this, we're not that," just be happy now because we're doing well now. There's no point worrying about the future. Keep our head down and we just need to keep on winning games because it is exciting. We've got one of the best squads and the best probably 11 in the league, I personally think anyway. And and the thing is, you're saying about the 3 games, you're saying, am I being ballsy or whatever? Southampton are 20 games unbeaten. Why can't we have that optimism as well? I think it's a Leeds fan thing where we can't feel like we are allowed to, be confident in our team. I don't see why this team does lose anything in the next 3.
Yeah, how am I going to win the FA Cup?
Yeah.
Even if we don't go up, we'll be playing European football soon.
It's all about momentum, isn't it? If we get a couple of wins in these next 2 home games, then we really look strong. And that gives those teams around us something to think about.
I think we smacked. Like someone asked me earlier on, what's the score prediction for Preston? I went 3-0. I think we smacked them up. Do you know what I mean?
I think we kicked crap out of them.
In the sense that we didn't have to go out of 3rd gear. So there's, and he didn't. Like I talk about. I know we might get on to substitute. I don't know if I already spoke about it, but I don't think they were needed in that game. Most injuries come from intensity runs, so running quick, right? That's what our recovery runs because you have to run quick. Like just playing in a game like that, you're not going to get injured by being that easy. There's no intensity in it. We didn't need to exert ourselves. So we've saved.
Firpo got injured.
Oh,
he did.
Grass is green.
I don't know about the rest of you guys, but I just feel like since the start of this year, after those awful defeats, it feels like something's changed for me. Like suddenly Bamford's scoring goals, we're winning games, we're keeping clean sheets. It's like, I don't know, it's like it with a kick up the arse that they needed.
And other players are stepping up, like I said, Bamford's playing. Can he stay fit, please? And then you've got Gray who came in and was...
it looked unreal.
Yeah, it's like he played every game of the season.
I mean, he might have weird legs like my cat who's got like 10 to 2 feet on back and runs funny, but hey, as long as it works, mate, I'm happy.
I genuinely think that single performance, and this probably a wild take, but I've just taken to it. That single performance is better than any Ampadu performance this season. Single performance.
I don't know about that.
That's a big call.
The thing I liked about Gruev that Ampadu hasn't showed is that ability to ping a ball 40 yards from one wing to the other. He often played kind of left centre back, didn't he, at times when Firpo would stick up. And that outlet ball to the right wing in any system is huge. That big swing across the pitch, other side of the pitch, 1v1 on their fullbacks. And I don't think Ampadu's done that enough. I think that's the only aspect that Gruev has really excelled in. And that's a huge outlet when you're being pressed or when you're in a position you can't really get out. That one huge ball to the other winger is huge, and Gruev did it 3 or 4 times yesterday, won it, where it was just absolutely
on the button as well, bro. On the button, you know.
But better than Ampadu, I don't know about that, Joe.
I think what you could say is then, what I'd say is that the biggest compliment that you can give Gruev is that performance was Ampadu standard. Like when he's playing really well, that's Ampadu standard. But the thing is, at the start of the season, when Ampadu and Archie Gray were playing in those 2 midfield roles and everyone was raving about how good they were, could you possibly imagine that Glenn Kamara and Gruev could come in and be just as good?
Lots of people wrote Kamara off before he came because he played for Rangers and he can't get in their team now. They've bombed him out.
Yeah.
What a guy! He's like a good Adam Forshaw.
Unbelievable.
Just let me. I just want to bring this up, right? Listen, me being cocky and arrogant has no bearing on the result whatsoever. Right? Me saying this out
Your
loud.
fault, yeah.
Yeah, me saying this out loud does not mean that we will lose the get or win. And don't worry, Mike. I know you'll come for me on social media every bit about 70th minute and said you said we were going to win when we were 2-0 down. I was like, well, it's easy now with hindsight. Yeah, come on, man. I'm not. It's not. Does anyone disagree that that's a wild take to say we'll beat Preston at home 3-0? Am I being arrogant?
We beat every team 3-0 at home, really. We should beat 3-0.
Yeah. The only reason why it might be
could have been
considered
5. It could have been 5 matches.
Easily.
The only reason why it might be considered wild is just the probability of winning 4 games 3-0 in a row. That's the only thing. Other than that, it's fine.
It's already broke a record. Let's just keep going.
Do you know what I was thinking about Leeds earlier? How easy it is for us to score 3 goals, but it's so hard for us to score 4, 5, 6. Why is that?
Yeah, I know.
You know what I mean? We get 3, then we decide, can't score anymore. It's so weird.
Even now, still, we do have like a little bit of a drop off after. If we're winning 2-0 or something at a game and at half time, we did have a drop off, didn't we?
I think it's 2.
Half.
Yeah, I think it's 2 goals we score, and we kind of just slow down completely. I personally think, anyway. But
you're all right if you score 2 in the first half, slow it down a little bit, and get used to the second half. Make sure you don't concede. Then go and score a third, and just cap the game off at either end. Then
that's fine.
It's a mentality.
We'll do that every week.
It's a
Keeping
mentality
that intensity up for 90 minutes is just not. That's where you will get a lot of injuries. So I think it's all right for 15. If you can control when they have a bit of possession, I didn't have a lot, but when they had a bit, if you can control out of possession as well as in possession, that's why you're a good team. Because teams can be great on the ball, but off the ball, what you like, and I think we are improving off the ball. Hence the 3 clean sheets.
And man, I'm not a dog with a bone. Mike said he's just being realistic. There's still some area, right? Okay, so I've just had a look, right, and 3 of the last 4 home games we've scored 3 or more. 4 against Ipswich, 3 against Borough, 3 before that against Swansea. And then there's a 2-1 against Plymouth. So I think in actual fact, it's unrealistic to say we'll score less than 3 than it is to say we'll score 3 or more, if I'm being totally honest. Based on historical data. Do you know what I mean? Based on data.
Well, that's it.
The thing is, I think that it comes to that again. Like, obviously, everyone's entitled to their opinions and comments, and I do respect maybe the approach of let's not get too ahead of ourselves. But Joe, you're right. Your prediction isn't that the players aren't sitting around thinking, "God, bloody hell, Joe's just said that we're going."
Too much pressure on us now. Too much pressure.
At the end of the day, Forshaw came out, didn't he, with that promotion season and said we're going to dick the league, and he played it. So it's true.
I think if we lost yesterday, and you've been saying that, I think fair enough. But we've got a. It's just that Leeds mentality thing. Do you know what I mean? Leeds mentality where we can't be happy and can't be optimistic. I mean, I fell into that a bit over the last few seasons. I think we all have because of how bad it has been the last few seasons. While we're winning, let's remain winning and let's keep happy.
Exactly. Let's be happy.
That's it.
Thank you. I'm out of it.
yeah.
Job done.
That's the best. That's the best input you've ever had, Ollie, mate.
Thank
you. Does anyone think that he makes changes? Because I know we've got 3. So the thing is, if he said 4 days, Annie, before, if there's 4 days, he thinks that that's enough time for the players to rest, recuperate, and he's happy to go again. He's on record as saying that. So we've got 7 days. I don't know what Struik's fitness situation will be like, but do you think he'll make any changes? I genuinely feel as good as Struik's been, and I love Struik, by the way. I love Struik. I just don't see how he can change that side. Does anyone think Struik does come in and therefore Gruev drops to the bench?
I'm not even convinced he'll be fit, will he, for that?
I think it depends on who we play, because if we were playing against Leicester or Southampton or somebody like that, I think he would want to bring in somebody more defensively used to playing at centre-back, so Struik. Right. But because I think the reason that he played him against Peterborough and the reason he played him against Cardiff, and the reason I think he probably will play him again in that position against Preston, is because he knows that we're going to have the majority of possession. He knows that we're going to be the ones with the ball most of the time. So instead of having him as somebody who's going to be a defender who just sits there and stops everything coming through, he's somebody who's going to pick the ball up from centre back and pass it out. And like he did against Peterborough and like he did against Cardiff, he's going to almost be what he is, a midfielder in defence. And basically everything's going to come through him from the back like it's been over the last couple of games. And then you've got his ability to pass the ball over the top. You've got the ability, because obviously that's what happened with Bamford's goal, the wonder goal. Then you've got the Gruev's ability, the passing ability that Lockie highlighted. Kamara's athleticism and tenacity to win the ball back. I think it works really well for playing against a team who aren't going to be as dominant. And I think Preston are a very average mid-table side, other than potentially Liam Miller. But other than that, I think that's why Ethan Ampadu will probably play centre-back again, because we're going to be so dominant, especially at home.
I think so as well. I think you bang on the money, really. I'm really looking forward to that game of football, because I think there will be a sense of revenge. I genuinely think the team will want to go out and write that. And
it's
really
fresh in their memory as well, isn't it?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. It was only a couple of weeks back, if that. Do you know what I mean? So I think he does go out and put them to the sword. Someone's just mentioned Somerville in the chat, and the square ball lads were mentioning this. He didn't have a great game yesterday. And when you actually look at it, he got 2 assists. He gets the one for James, and he gets the one that Bamford dummies. And it's like he was pretty bang average by Somerville standards, right? His touch was off, his finishing.
Yeah, it was his touch, wasn't it, mainly letting him down?
Yeah, his touch.
I think in the box, I agree. I think his general play was actually really good. I still think 1v1, he did his defender a few times. Yeah, played some balls into midfield. Progressive passes were decent. Yeah, I still think he looked sharp, but 1 or 2 times he had. I think there's a 1-on-1 heavy touch, another 1 heavy touch, 1 or 2 heavy touches in the box. But he's still part of the massive part of all goals, wasn't he?
I was going to say he set his standards so high.
Yeah,
he's got 2 assists, and I mean, I didn't really criticize his performance, but I said, his performance wasn't up to his normal standard. But yeah, still 2 assists,
and that's. In a way, that shows that we have a team there where you don't need to rely on one player, which we've struggled with in the past. Yeah. Like if Rafinha didn't turn up if he ever did.
Calvin, for sure. Calvin was one. We never played difference.
When Kreese is still good, but not outstanding like he usually is in terms of his final product. Again, you've got Georgina Rutter, who's in there just being fun and doing what he wants, and I love that. You've got Dan James, who's just becoming less, wasteful and really productive. And then Patrick Bamford, who's a really smart player and doing what he needs. And good.
I think the thing with Somerville is he has set his standards so high that he could still play better than other players in the team and get criticised because he's not playing to what he can play at.
100%.
Yeah. And I think this is going to be called a victim of his own success.
Yeah. This is going to be called the Ampadu factor, isn't it?
Yeah.
Somebody who's so consistently good that when they have a slightly off game, even if it's better than a lot of other players in the pitch, they're going to get the criticism, aren't they? Because they've set their own bar so high. I think what Somerville his touch was letting him down yesterday, like people have mentioned. But I think what I like about him is that his positioning was still spot on. He was in the right place at the right time still, because he's still making those runs. He's still opening up the space. When Dan James played that ball across, when the 2 players ran into each other and Dan James played it, he knew to be there, to hold his line, to stay on side, and he would get that ball and then unselfishly passed it back. And I think when he did take that, he took that outside of the foot touch, didn't he? It rolled it into the keeper's gloves when really he should have took it with his left foot and then bent it around the goalkeeper. And that was really bad, but he was in the right position to receive that ball. He made a really good run inside. And so I think even when somebody on the ball isn't playing that well, off the ball, they're still making chances by where they are, basically. And I think he was good at that yesterday.
And that's key for Farke as well, Max. Farke's not going to see Chris Somerville miss 1 or 2 chances and go, right, I'm going to drop you. As long as you do the things he needs off the ball and the boring tactical stuff is there and everything's there, the product will come. Like it happens at times,
and he's still having an off-color game. Still got 2 assists, so
crazy.
Yeah, I think you're all banging it. I've just had a look, 19 G&A now for the season for Somerville as well. There's only Armstrong that's got more, 25, a lot of his goals, but he's on the same as Morgan Whittaker and Sammy Schmodix, and above Keenan Dewsbury Hall. And if you listen to a lot of people, he's the best player this division's ever seen. So quite impressive.
I knew that wasn't just going to be above Keenan Dewsbury Hall. I knew there was something after that.
Yeah, of course, mate. Definitely. Right, listen, just before we finish up, obviously been a lot of talk about transfers. We're in January. We've seen Luke Ayling exit. Spencer's been sent to Genoa, the absolute bell end. And you know, there's listen, I'll make my, you can all have your opinion. Mine is a bell end.
I'm with you, mate.
We'll go around. Ollie, I'll come to you. You're on my right, mate. No, you are on this screen, not there. I do know my right and left, people. But Ollie, who do you think is going to be the first signing that we acquire, based on what you know?
As in a specific player or a position?
Give me a player.
I think the noise is still quite loud about Ben Johnson at West Ham. I really do. And I think Farke will really like that. I think we personally need a right back and a left back, but the fact that he can play both, I think that's saving money and saving, you know, and that's just beneficial. But that's the you know, loudest rumour so far. Obviously, there's been Connor Roberts and things, but like I said earlier in the show, Archie Gray's putting in so many good performances that I'm starting to think, like, do we need a right back? I know we do need a right back for cover, but will Ben Johnson want to come and, you know, will he start straight away, and will he be wanting to sit on the bench like Jaden Anthony's been doing, like Jed Spence was doing? I know Jed Spence was more of an attitude thing in the end, but yeah, I personally think it will be someone like Ben Johnson, but the 49ers keep their cards close to their chest, so it could be, you know, out of nowhere Fabrizio Romano be like, I don't know, they'll just put something, and then 20 minutes later he'll be taking a photo with the shirt and stuff. So you never
Weston
know.
McKennie returns to Leeds.
I'd be 49ers out if that happened. I can't lie to you. Yeah, Charlie, he's mentioned Johnson there. Are you concerned as a fan that Leeds are looking at a fullback that can play right and left, and therefore will only get one? Where's your head at, or do you think they get both sides?
Yeah, I'm a bit like Ollie. I don't think they'll get both as much as I would like them to. I think it'd be good to have good cover on either side, but I think the fact that he can play both, I think, will be more appealing to the club and to Daniel Farke as well. Again, it's frustrating that Firpo's our only actual left back, but if Ben Johnson can come in and play either side, then, you know, it's more of a benefit, I would say. And I agree with Ollie. I do think he's the loudest rumour at the minute, so I expect him to come through at some point. Yeah,
for sure. I just want to bring up this. Darren says, guys, we've had 3 easy games. Floppo is a world beater. James easy beats a man. We've flogged Ampadu to death when clearly Gruev is good enough. The manager is not good enough. Be happy, Darren. Be happy. Go back to them thoughts of you being poolside, going, Club Tropicana, drinks are for you. My like hell, man. You're there, look, man. Come on, Darren. Just be happy, broski. Max, I'll come to you, mate. Do you think we just get defensive positions boxed off, or because I'm of the thinking now that I think we might get 2, but we get defenders and don't bother with the forward line. And we were screaming out for a 10 for a while. So what do you think?
Yeah, it kind of leans towards that, doesn't it? I've made a couple of videos on people we've not been linked with as number 10s, but players I'd like to see come in. Yeah. But I'm the more the transfer window goes on, the more I'm thinking that we probably aren't going to do a number 10, because Jorginho Rutter kind of now is that, with Bamford as the striker. All I wonder is, where does that leave Piru, which is something that will remain to be seen over the next couple of weeks, like whether when he does play, he plays as a striker or as a number 10. But if he does play as a number 10 and we just leave Jorginho in the as a number 9 and we just leave Jorginho in the 10, that's fine with me, and we can just focus on defenders. It does look like potentially, as well as a fullback, we might get a centre back as well because of the Charlie Cresswell situation. We've been linked with Chris Mepham, who personally I'm not massively keen on. I think he's, as an actually defensive player, he's very solid. But in terms of passing and progressing the ball, like a lot of our centre-backs are expected to do, he doesn't meet that criteria for me.
Did you see he was linked? Did you see his car was in Norwich? Did you see that photo on Twitter?
It was bullshit, apparently. I did see that someone said it was BS. Yeah. It did say like Chris Mep or something. Yeah, I think it was, because I'd seen that and I got to reading it and was like, what? And then I think it was BS, mate.
Yeah, there was also the
Adeji from Hammarby.
Yes.
Yeah.
I wondered if you could hear me then because everybody froze. But yeah, I was thinking the Hammarby centre back, who I don't really know too much about. So does anybody else reckon there's anything in that, or would he even fit the bill?
I think the sporting director came out and said the rejected bids. He was on record as saying we've rejected bids for Adeji because there was a few clubs after him. I think they wanted 4 million, according to reports. That there was an interview done with the sporting director, and that's what they said anyway. So maybe that's just, I don't know, negotiating techniques. But yeah, I think centre back and a full back. I'm hoping that I'd rather we just get a right back and a left back. I'd be okay with that as opposed to a centre back and one that can play either side. Maybe that's bad. I just think you can't rely on Byram and Firpo for me. I just don't think you can at all.
No, I think that a fullback is probably going to happen. As for who, I don't know. Like everyone says, like Ben Johnson's probably the one from the things we've heard, but you just don't know with the 49ers, do you? Some random will just pop up out of nowhere and we'll all be like, Jesus Christ, look at this guy, and we'll all be rushing to make videos about him.
100% straight away.
But yeah, I don't think we'll go for a striker. I think the renaissance of Bamford has probably boxed that one off for this season. But I do think that the 49ers are prepared to invest to try and get us up, and I do think we will see something. I just don't know how much.
Sorry, do you think the good run of form is going to affect our transfer market in a way that we're winning and we're looking comfortable, we're rotating the squad, and people think, do you think they look at it and go, well, look, we're doing all right with the team we've got? Or do you think, because, kind of we needed a 10, in December, we really needed 10, we really needed 10. Now no one really thinks that we need a 10 anymore. So
this always happens to us around transfer windows, doesn't it?
Yeah,
Everybody's on Twitter going, make sure you don't think that just because Bamford scored 2 goals, it means we don't need a striker in previous windows and stuff. Yeah. But it does always happen to us. We always go in a good run of form just before or during a transfer window. And then they're like, oh, yeah, Firpo's the best player in the championship. We don't need another left back.
Yeah, see, I don't know if it will, but I just feel like stuff like that, because we, again, when we bring in a player now, we're kind of all be like, well, where do they fit in? All these players are doing so well.
Do you know what I think? I think that's where we're really looking at Farke, because he's been around the block enough times to see past form. He knows that just because it's all going okay now doesn't mean it's going to be going okay in a month's time. And I think we're lucky in that regard. I think he's experienced enough, especially in this division, to know what's required. And I think he'll be vocal enough to the board about that.
Yeah, I think I would agree with you, Ollie, if we were still under the previous regime. But the 49ers showed me in the summer when they eventually got their acts into gear that actually, no, these folks know what they're doing. So I think we might have to wait. We might have to wait, and we might start to stress as a fan base. But I do think by the time the window shuts, we will have what we need. I think, Farke's on it. I think they're all on it, to be honest. I'm confident, Lockie. How are you with it, mate? Are you confident that we'll get some deals done?
I think we get to. Not convinced where, but I do think a right back.
Probably Leeds.
That was good.
I was confused then. I thought you said Leeds at first.
Tom Leeds, bring him back.
I was like, don't know about it. Yeah, a right back. Ben Johnson's the one for me, I think. I swear I saw something that obviously he's got 6 months left. But it'd have to be like a loan to buy or something like that. I don't know. But yeah, I want Al Hamadi from Wimbledon is who I want up front. Young striker, scoring for fun. Okay. Physically there.
I'll have to look him up
as well.
I don't know him.
No, I think. Listen, Ben Jacobs said the other day that Leeds were toying up whether to go now or in the summer. Maybe, like you said, the emergence of Bamford, they go, we can wait. We can wait now. So
that's why, for me, Joe, it's important that whoever we do get, they'll have to understand that it's a really competitive team and they're not going to play every minute. They're just not going to. So that's why I think younger players, but not younger players that are unproven, younger players that maybe have done it in a lower league or in another league to come through and take their time to get into it, like Gruever's done, something like that.
Yeah. I will say sorry, Joe.
Go on, man.
I will say the nice thing about this is with this ownership, we're talking about who we might sign instead of sat here worried about who we're going to sell because we're doing well.
That's the great thing, mate. Every time I see Somerville Gray linked, I go, yeah, I'm not asked. Yeah. Genuinely not asked. In the summer,
previous guys.
But, yeah,
not selling.
Definitely. let me just bring this up actually, just before we do finish up. I got not a message, but Twitter, just asking about Daniel Farke's treatment of the youth and some questioning it. I think a lot of it's getting thrown in with the Spence situation, saying that the way he's dealing with Charlie's not good enough. The way he called out Perkins isn't good enough. The whole Spence situation. Some people saying he can't handle egos and that, which I disagree with wholeheartedly, by the way. But I just wanted to know if anyone does think that he has gone about it the wrong way. Because I look at the way, if you remember pre-season or in the lead-up, and there were a lot of talk about Gray. And he was asked about Gray, and he went, listen, we're not just one-man team. Gray's good, but he's got to work hard. Now, that has had the proper effect. Archie's listened to that. He's took it on his shoulders, and he's given us the performances. Now, I would say the others that he's challenged haven't done that. That's just my observation. I don't know. But what does anyone agree with that maybe he could have dealt with the situation differently?
That's his style, isn't it, Farke? Is to challenge players to be better, and he doesn't just do it with the youth. He does it with the players of all levels. He does it with Joe Rodon. Joe Rodon first came in, and they were everyone was saying, "Oh, how good is Joe Rodon? We're going to get him on a permanent and all that stuff." And Farke was going, "Well, let's just see if he can do it every week. I want him to be more consistent. I want him to do this and this." And obviously, Joe Rodon's a lot more of a senior player. But it's just a management style. It's getting somebody to really have to work for your approval, sort of thing. Like, do you know what I mean? Like almost like a psychological thing where they think, "Oh, I had a class game and he's not really said too much to me." I mean, I listened to that, that My Mate's a Footballer with Patrick Bamford and Joe Wilkinson, and Patrick was saying that when Farke came on the pitch, he said, "Oh, lucky goal," and obviously he was saying it as a joke, and Bamford was like, "Oh, no chance" or whatever, but he's still not like, I think there's psychology behind all of it, and he's not saying, "Oh, what a goal that was, you're definitely in the team next week." Do you know what I mean? He's still giving people something to aim for. And I think with modern football, you hear people like Alan Shearer and other players, like ex-players, talk about it all the time. It's completely shifted to the point where there are some types of players who constantly need an arm around them. And if somebody's not telling them they're the best thing since sliced bread every week, their heads go. And they think, "Oh, I need to go to a different club then." And I think Farke has a management style for all of his players, whereas the best man managers have a management style for individual players because they know that certain players need a bollocking. Certain players need an arm around the shoulder. Certain players need a one-to-one where they have a little bit of a chat and stuff. I think he's just one way. It's my way or the highway. And some of the young players maybe don't like that. That's where I kind of stand on it.
All footballers have massive egos, right? They've been the best at their level since they were kids at everything, right? Football, who's the best player? It's him. Everyone knows who they are when they're young. Everyone, watch out for that player. So their egos are massive. And most managers, or all managers, don't care as long as it doesn't affect the team and the way you play. You turn up to training and train as best as you can, be the best at training and say, "I'm the best." They don't care as long as you're proving it. As long as you go out on that pitch in the 90 minutes, you put everything on for the team, everyone around you. It's a team game. They don't care about egos. And this is from experience where we've had players that have been told their ego's too big, their attitude's not right. And then they train with us. And because the manager shows care to that player, because like you said, another manager won't show them love. And they want to feel that. They want to feel loved. Because again, they are just humans at the end of the day. Some might have all this money, all this fame, but at the end of the day, they want people to tell them, "You are good." And you'll see this ego then becomes the best thing about the player and the best thing about the team. And that's what you've got to do. You've got to, and some players just don't want to. They just think, "Yeah, I think I'm better."
I think as well, he's a manager. At the end of the day, he's not your mate. Jesse came in and tried to be a mate to these players, and he's your boss. Do you know what I mean? He's your boss if you're not performing. And we don't know what he's saying behind the scenes. Obviously, he could be not horrible, but he could be honest to the press. Do you know what I mean? But you don't know if behind the scenes he's given an arm round. And I just think, sorry, go Joe.
Go on, go on. I was waiting.
I was just gonna say that. Yeah, I think with the situations with Cresswell and with Jed Spence and stuff, I feel like, as much as I do like Cresswell and I feel like he would do all right in our squad, he hasn't proved it to a massive level. He's had a few good games with us, but I just feel like Farke's a boss, and you know. He is your boss. You don't. He's not a mate. You just got to do what he wants to do. At the end of the day, he's the manager. He knows how to get out of this division. Listen to him.
Yeah, I think Jamie. I think this as well. This is actually a credit in Farke's court for me, the way that he's handled that situation, because maybe Nonto's performance haven't been great, but he's been good. And I do question this, Demar. I'd love to know where this narrative is coming from. I think because he's mentioned Rutter doing a bit of tricks from time to time. But again, that is a way of saying to Rutter, keep yourself in check. Don't be doing, this is a game of football. There's a lot riding on it. Don't take the piss. But people see it as like, oh, no, he's not. I don't know where this narrative has come from. I think a lot of it's been tied in with the Spence situation, which we now find out that Spence is a bellend.
There seems to be some people have a bee in the bonnet with Farke. I don't know why.
Yeah,
you flashed a comment up just before then, Joe, and it said, he said, "Oh, thank God about Melier being back," and that were really harsh on Klaassen. But your first choice keeper's out, your second choice keeper's out, and all you got is your third choice keeper. Hasn't really played much, and you got your first choice keeper back. Who's not going to say thank God because he only had one keeper?
It's literally context. It's not saying, "Oh God, he was awful."
Exactly.
Yeah,
and I think people need to just calm down a bit with criticism like that. And like with the players and the youth and stuff, Farke clearly has a standard, and he challenges you to meet that standard. You either do and you play, or you don't. And you don't.
But it's right with the Sonny Perkins situation. Sorry, Joe. It's the Sonny Perkins situation where he was just honest. He couldn't do it in League One. What makes him think he's going to come in and start up front for us in the Championship?
And he has got an attitude. There seems to be this notion that he ain't got an attitude problem. He has got an attitude problem, regardless of what Oxford managers said. A bit like Farke, when he spoke about Spence, he went, "He's not my player." He didn't come out and said he's got an attitude problem. So when they've asked for Oxford, he said the same. But Farke, I know that he has issues.
Comes down to the whole. These players were the best, right? Sonny Perkins was the best player at West Ham, the highest rated, right? Came on in the Europa League for him. The second, then he consistently got a move to a club where he might play more. Suddenly, everyone else is as good as him, and it's about realizing that actually now, Sonny, now you have to work hard. This is the bit now where you have to show yourself better than them, and it's whether these players, and they're still young, they can change the mindset. Don't get me wrong. This might be a wake up call for him playing in the 21s again, where he shouldn't be because his talent. This might be a wake-up call for him now to say, look, this is where you'll be. Do that extra bit. Turn up to training early. Prove to me that you are that player, and we'll play you because you have the talent. And it's so frustrating with so many players that have this unbelievable talent. If they're not playing, it's down to the fact that they're not training at a level that they should be, and everyone else around them is performing at a high level, and that's why they're getting played.
Do you think that some players, because they're tearing it up at under 21 level, think that they've made it and they're all that? Because it's such a different level when you play actual men's football.
I think some of the players that are in our first team now have been through that phase. I think Somerville went through that phase.
Yeah,
I agree with that.
Because he thought he was better than, like he wanted to go out to, was it Hoffenheim he was linked with? He was linked with German clubs in the Bundesliga, and he was thinking that he was at that level before he'd actually proved that to anyone. And he's done that now, and he's knuckled down, and he's done that, and he should be the blueprint for these young players to go, oh, do you know what? Yeah. And Archie Gray and other players who've gone through that phase, come out the other side of it and playing for the first team. You just have to work your socks off to do it. And if you're going to go on loan, you have to. If you're going to go on loan, you have to show everything you've got in those games for because your parent club and the loan. I think there's a loan representative usually for professional clubs who be the one who's the go between the clubs. You have to show them that you're going to get clips of you playing very, very well. And if you're not going to try, I mean, I don't know anything about Sonny Perkins' situation. I haven't watched him play. Just saying, in a generic situation, if you're not going to try your absolute best to show how good you are to your parent club, then what's the point being on loan?
If you're getting sent on loan to a lower level, you've got to tear it up, surely.
Yeah, no, I agree. I do agree.
It's so competitive. It's in the Championship. We're at top of the Championship. It's so competitive.
I think that's fair. I think this is a great way to finish up, actually. Smarty says, look, it's a shame about Creswell. Managers do make good decisions with players, i.e. Spencer Nonto. Bad ones, Christensen with Click. And that's fair enough. They don't always get it right, but they are in charge. And I think
judgment,
that's perfect.
Yeah.
Perfect. For right or wrong. And we have to back it, I guess. We can criticise it, but we have to back it. But listen, folks, what I want to do is thank you all for giving up your Sunday afternoon, evening for coming on. Please check out Jay Ought to Know Better, Max at Leeds Lately, Charlie at Chatting Leeds, Ollie at Ollie Ward, and Lockie at Lockie Leeds. Please like this video on your way out. Enjoy the rest of your evening. We'll be back tomorrow for lunchtime Leeds, where hopefully Leeds will start to make some, some transfers this week. You can cover it on here or all these other channels as well. Thanks as always for watching. Enjoy your evening now, folks, and we'll see you there. Peace out.